Would you put on that crazy hat?
Don't, Fred. Don't let them beat you.
Guess I just don't have it anymore. If I ever did. I must have had something once. That's hopeless.
Only if you let it be.
Where do you think you're going?
I don't know, I'm just going.
Like to New York again?
Or maybe California, I don't know.
Well, you got your suitcase packed. You ought to know where you're going.
Maybe I do.
It's the third time he's packed that suitcase since we've been here. We ain't been here all that long. Not long enough to aggravate anybody in the right mind.
Oh, I could present a good argument there.
And what you're doing, going out and sitting on the porch for hours so all the neighbors can see you, I don't know.
Well, so what if the neighbors see me? I mean, what do they care?
Well, you're making Nora and I look like a couple of fools.
To Nora, I apologize.
You don't give a hang what I feel, do you?
In a nutshell.
Look, Uncle Fred, is that something I said? Is that it?
I don't know. I just want to go find myself.
You mean you're leaving home to go find yourself?
Yes?
Uncle Fred, leaving home to find oneself is not something an old man does. That's for the kids, the now generation.
Well, I guess the generation that was has just joined the movement. Look, what do you want from me? All I want is to be left alone. That's all I want.
Well, what about what I want and Nora wants? I mean, we've tried everything we know to show you that we love you.
Oh, Tommy, why don't you just leave him alone?
We've been here a whole month, 30 lousy, stupid days, and by God, how I wish we'd just kept going.
Oh, so do I.
Oh, do you? Well, let me tell you now, if we left now, it'd be like surrendering every legal claim we have to this house. You ever heard of the rights of instant domain?
No, but I don't think you have either.
I've heard of them all right. You just try me in court.
Tommy's very well read, Fred. I'd think on that if I were you.
Look, I'm not the only one in the family with a big house. Why don't you just go bug somebody else?
Would you listen to this? You know, I ought to call Dad. He ought to hear this.
Oh, call him. Call the rest of the family if you'd wish.
What I ought to do is call a psychiatrist.
Tommy.
Well, he's going to hear this. Uncle Fred, we know all about your hallucinations, your conversations with your dead girlfriend.
You talking about Nora? Is that what you're talking about?
How many dead girlfriends you got?
None. Nora was a fine lady. She was my friend.
Yeah, she understood you.
Yes, she did.
Well, I don't know how to get through to you. What does it take to get through to you?
Look, if you're so eager for explanations, why don't you justify your life to me?
Okay. Where do we start?
We don't start anywhere because frankly, I don't give a damn.
Okay, Nora, I want you to hang on to every word he's saying because I'm going to need you as a witness.
Witness? What are you talking about? What witness?
I'm going to have you committed.
Oh, go ahead. I don't care. But let me tell you something. If you're all right, both of you, I'd rather be the one that's crazy.
Oh, would you just forget it? Would you just forget it?
And I was beginning to feel sorry for him, too.
Look, Uncle Fred, you're just going to... Nothing's going to get soft if you stand there with a chip on your shoulder.
I don't have a chip on my shoulders.
Fred, maybe you don't realize it because you lived by yourself so long, maybe no one ever told you, but you're strange.
So who is it?
All the world's a stage. Is that it, Fred?
Fred, do you realize that you need to yourself?
Myself? Yes, you do. Maybe I'm just thinking out loud or yeah, like last night, in your sleep you got out of bed and you got to the back. You should give a performance of something out of Death of a Salesman. In your sleep. My, oh my. It ain't funny, it's not funny. Well, I wasn't. You mean to stand there and admit to yourself knowingly and willingly at one. What the Sean? Oh, but Jesus be praised, I had an audience. If I didn't know for a fact that you were mad, I'd suspect you were good. Very good. Well, I thank you for that, Nora.
She didn't mean it as a compliment.
Well, let me tell you two something. If you would spend half time trying to make a living, you're trying to make like an incompetent fool, why, you'd be wealthy beyond all your dreams.
For heaven's sakes.
You don't need any fool, anything looking like a fool, and that's established, Fred. Why, if Nora hadn't intervened on your behalf several times, the neighbors would have called the police more than once.
Am I supposed to thank you for that?
You might show a hint of gratitude.
No, I don't think so.
What do you mean you don't think so?
Look, I've never had any trouble with my neighbors before. And if they're beginning to look at me as being strangers, it's only because you have the thought in their mind. You're not very subtle, either of you. In fact, I think you're rather ludicrous.
Why, Fred, that's just awful.
Yeah, you don't have to get rude.
Well, I can't help it. It's just sometimes I can't help being factual. Now, as long as I'm not, I think I'll go down to the theater and see what's going on. Oh, would you mind putting my suitcase in my room for me?
Aren't you going to ask Helen to go with you?
Don't you never ask. This way, Helen.
He acted as if Helen was actually with him.
Well, I hear there's such things as ghosts for those who live.
Oh, cut it out. You're spooking.
I'll go fix dinner.
Wait. Let's go out for hamburgers.
All right, let me get my purse. I think you should be doing something more challenging.
Oh, no, I like it just the way it is. Besides, if you're clever, you get to upstage the other actors.
And are you clever?
Oh, yes, I am. And I believe that if fate so wills, in the end, I'll get my just reward.
Fate is what we make of it. We're either its slaves or its masters. Come on, sit down. Let me take your shoes off.
Oh, no, no, Helen, don't do things like that. It's not very dignified.
Oh, nonsense. I like doing it for you. You work too hard, sweeping the stage, setting up the theater. You ought to leave something for the others to do.
Oh, no, they have enough to do. Their parts are bigger. They have a lot more to learn. Besides, I feel the theater is more in me than with them.
Oh, yes, you are.
Was that funny?
Oh, yes. You are.
Thank you.
Your approach is so sincere, yet so casual. None of that amateurish self-consciousness in your work.
Well, I'm glad of that. All I want is to know that when I'm on stage, in front of an audience, or even an empty theater, that my work is as good as Vincent Price or Larry Olivier.
Larry?
Yes, I've read that his friends call him that.
And you consider yourself a friend of his?
Well, I'm not his enemy. I have faith that if fate had so willed. Oh no, let me tell you more about our relationship. We both have that little spark that says that we're of the theater. His spark is a lot larger, and he's more successful than I am.
All depends on what you mean by successful.
Well, I believe that if fate so wills, had our paths crossed professionally, we should have become the very best of friends.
Now, don't rail against fate. It's treated you fairly enough.
Oh, I can't argue with that. I just wish, by God, that I would have one major role in a film or in a play, just to say that I've been there. Behold, the English beach pales in the flood with men, with wives and boys, who shouts and claps out voice the deep-mouthed sea.
What in the hell is going on here, Fred?
Well, hello, Nora.
Do you realize that it is 1 a.m.?
Oh, well, good grief.
Where were you? I waited up half the night. I finally dozed off and you had to go awaken me with these lunatic ravings.
Oh, no, that was Shakespeare. It was the prologue from Henry V.
I don't mean to be cruel, but what does it take to get it through your muddled mind that you are not an actor? Amateur or otherwise? Can't you accept that?
Well, I was at the theater tonight. I did a role in a scene that we did. Everybody there said that I was quite good.
Fred, the theater's been closed for 10 years. You got to see it that way, else you're going to drive us all up the wall.
I was there. I was at the theater tonight. I swept the stage and I dusted off the seats just like I always do. I have faith.
Faith in what?
Well, maybe someday the Arts Commission will come and rescue us. I mean, we were very important in our day. We gave so much pleasure and entertainment to so many audiences.
Fred, you poor fool.
Well, I believe that things could happen if you wish them to be. I mean, people came around today that hadn't been around in a long time. Some people you may never have heard of.
Yeah, I'd like to know, Fred. Who was there?
Well, Helen was there and Billy West. He was there too. Remember him?
Helen's dead and no one's heard of Billy West since year 1.
Oh, no, that's not true. Billy's around. I see him now and then. He was there, and Helen really isn't dead.
Fred, Helen's dead and you know it. We drove you to her funeral. Don't you remember? We stopped afterwards for hamburgers.
Yeah. I remember that. Oh my God. I guess Helen is dead, isn't she? It's funny. Been seeing a lot of her lately.
Fred, maybe you'd better go to bed now.
I'd like to stay up just a little bit longer. A lot of things to think about in my mind.
Well, can't you do your thinking in bed?
Look, Fred.
Let me handle this, all right? Look, Fred, will you just go to bed now?
Yeah, Fred, how about it?
Tommy, will you just shut up?